basically what I'm hearing you say and touching on it, which is so true, is knowing yourself, getting to do that little bit of self-inventory of, okay, this works for me. This is less stress for me. Let me pick what's going to work best for me. And in order to be sure, and for your children, it's meeting yourself where you are and meeting your children, because each kid is different in their learning style or in their circadian rhythm, whether they're up in the morning or they're up late, whatever works best for your family. But it's knowing yourself. That's the first part of it. And I think the second part of what I'm hearing is beware the comparison trap of, well, she's doing it this way, so I must be doing it wrong, or I'm not successful at it if I'm not doing it this way. Can you speak to more of that, of your personal needs and how you got to know yourself or getting to know yourself? And how that's empowering, really.
It really is. And, you hear comparison is a thief of joy, and it's so true. I mean, we just have to be so careful that it really is. I mean, we can't compare ourselves, and, and it's just, we keep saying it, but it's so imperative to get to know what works for you. And, I think that is another blessing of homeschooling, because think about it. You have the time with your children, and you have the flexibility. So see what works for you. Kimberly, you mentioned different learning styles, even to the point of the curriculum or the different learning styles. I'll have people ask me about curriculum. That's a big question that I get. People ask me a lot of questions about curriculum. And I tell people, I know it's very overwhelming. I can remember it was extremely overwhelming to me to have all of these curriculum choices. I recommend to people to just concentrate on one at a time. Look at some math curriculums, see what you think. Look at the literature. Look at just one at a time. And so you just have to find what works for you. And you mentioned it, but you might be a night owl. I'm a morning person. I'm not a night owl. You might be. My friend, my youngest daughter's friend, she would always be doing her homework really late at night. Mary Ruth would do hers in the morning and a little bit in the afternoon, and then her friend was always doing work at night, and that worked for them. So again, find what works for your family, but do make sure it works. Do make sure and make changes if it's not working.
Absolutely. It's very important. You can't just use it as, I'll be honestly, as an excuse to
it's
not
so
do.
True. It's so true. And that's another point of being honest with yourself and being self-reflective. Be honest with yourself. I mean, I know the negatives. I know the problems that I can have, so I have to be honest about that. I have to, be honest and, say, and I can tend to be too picky or too much of, I don't want to say perfectionist, because I'm really not a perfectionist, but I do like things just a certain way. And so I learned a lot of lessons through the years and realized that, what, it doesn't have to always be the way that I think it should be. And I learned through the years to get more input from my children, and they have great ideas. Your kids have great ideas, and they have some good problem solving skills. I got to the point where my homeschooling evolved into such a beautiful thing by the end, because of all the experience and because of God equipping and enabling and helping me with everything and answered prayers. But I got to the point at the end where I really valued Mary Ruth's input. And I would say sometimes, I don't know how to approach this, or I don't know how we're going to do this. A lot of times she'd have the answer. As a junior or senior in high school, they have some great answers.
And that's awesome. You kind of look at your child for a minute and go, oh, I like that. There's a little bit of me in there, but I like that. Or I hadn't considered that before.
Don't you love it? And you see it. It's wonderful.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Even now, my 10-year-old will come back with something for me. I'm like, oh, I should have asked you long ago. Yes, you're 10, but you have your own thoughts, and clearly you haven't made terrible choices thus far. So I need to remember it. What do you think? A little more often. So
I love that, because that makes them feel so valued.
It does. It does. And a lot of times it's not because I don't think he doesn't have value. It's simply we get into the, okay, well, it's so much easier if I just do this, or so much faster if I just,
Exactly.
choose your dinner for you, or what we're doing. But we have to remember as I'm often saying, okay, I'm raising a man, not a boy, and he won't be with me forever. And that is sobering for just a minute,
Yes.
especially when you think of how quickly time passes. And, they will just come out and surprise you with what they know and what you've poured into them thus far when it comes back to you with their little twist on it. But when it comes back to you, go, okay, I'm doing
It's
okay.
wonderful. I know you
I'm
can
doing
sit and
okay.
smile.
Yeah.
That's right. You are doing okay.
Yes.